Alright, so we're back. And right now, we are up against Gearmax, so Gearoids, as what he goes by on Discord. So looking at his team, there's some things that I kind of expected him bringing. He brought like 5 of the 6 mons. I think the only one that I just noticed just prior to battling was like, oh, he just changed like Gastro for Tentacruel. So, but yeah, seeing Gastrodon, seeing a Tentacruel over a Gastrodon just like actually was very helpful for in terms of just team preview for me, because I was like, well, Blaziken can like pretty much do whatever it wants in, so provided I could just get everything chipped. So, as a brief explainer, I do have double fighting stabs on my Blaziken with Shadow Claw, Crocodile, Spadef, Zapdos is also Spadef, just to take the guy's beams. Aloe is actually like I think careful, well, not careful. Well, I think it is like Spadef, so careful nature Spadef. But I changed to last minute just because I was like, yeah, his team is very specially based. Then Jirachi was Calm Mind, and lastly, Arcurum is Scarf after some deliberation there. So looking at his team, obviously the Necrozma Dawn Wings is just scary because that has that high special attack. But it really comes down to the coverage, whether it has a Signal Beam or not. Because if he doesn't have a Signal Beam, then Crocodile completely walls it. So that can help. Then of course Hydra. Like it also comes down to what set Hydra is and what it can't do, what it not. So whether it's Scarf, Specs, Stallbreaker, or Taunt, or even like some weird set that I have to watch out for. So, and Ninetales, that kind of implies Aurora Veil or Aura like Veil offense in a sense. So, thinking about his leads or thinking about like leads, I am just thinking about okay. I honestly thought about leading a Jirachi at first, but I felt that would be kind of dumb. So I decided, like okay, like the only two Pokemon that I'm kind of like concerned with are Hydra and like Ninetales, but I feel like leading Crocodile would be like pretty nice just to catch Tentacruel, Necrozma, Heatran, or even Arrow on like the first turn. So I just went for those odds. So goes to Kelfact, and I'm going for Mauler or Mueller or whatever. So now he has a -1 attack drop, so this is pretty helpful because here I could just go for Rocks. No way. He actually goes for Tailwind, and I'm like, oh wow, because he doesn't have any that means he doesn't have any coverage or stab or recovery option. So now I have to think about, okay, what do you forgo? Because like of course, Aerodactyl can be really bulky, but the fact that he has Tailwind just, yeah. And also, like, of course, like, seeing Tentacruel implies that, he has Rapid Spin, so. Here he goes for Toxic, as I mentioned, like, you may not have, like, Home Claws or Roost or something like that, so. I go for Toxic just to, like, try to catch the Hydra or, like, the Ninetales on the Switch, because I kind of don't have like my way of dealing with Hydra is kind of like just wearing it down before like my obvious mons, Blaziken, Kira, or like Jirachi with like a Calm Mind up with Moonblast can deal with it. So here he goes to Tentacruel, and I'm kind of surprised about that because I do have Earthquake, but I do go into Jirachi, so that kind of like that helps me there. So he is revealed to be leftovers. He goes for Scald. He burns me, but thankfully we're running special, so this time, so we have Combine on the hand, so now we can just go for Psychic or Moonblast depending on what we want to go for. But so here he's gonna go for Heatran, and I'm just gonna go for Psychic, and I do some good chunk damage, and I'm like, okay, this is like an offensive Tran of some sort. So, and this is one of those turns where I actually thought about this one for a bit because I was like, okay, I am already boosted up. So I could go for Moonblast and just sort of hope for the special attack drop. And he doesn't really have, ways to recovery. outside of like, you know, maybe like I Apothecary or whatever. So um yeah. So I don't see leftovers and or like any other thing to include. And the fact that like yeah, um he just took like 25% from the psychic implies that he's like somewhat offensive. He would have eaten it up easily. So if he was Spadef. So here I decide I make a kind of a ballsy play, and I expect him to go for either like a steadiest move, like, you know, rocks or toxic, or like just like maybe like do something else. So I actually stay in, go for the Moonblast, just to like drop his special attack. This is sort of like this sort of helps me because this ensures that I can take a hit from like one of my other mons can take a hit from like Heatran, like Zapdos or Aloe. I don't have to like risk them. And he actually switches out to Alolan Ninetales, and this puts me in a fantastic position because now this thing is -1. I still have to be careful about the moveset because he could have Encore, but at this point we could just like he can't do much to us outside of maybe having a say like let's say like I don't know like no he can't even hypnosis us because we're burned, so we're in a fantastic spot here. He's gonna go for Aura Veil as we're gonna go for the Psychic. Just do enough chip to where like Ninetales is pretty much going to like faint upon Rock's entry, so he has to go for Defog or Respin very soon. So either way, we're in a good spot. We are getting chipped down, but thankfully we do have our berries, so I do go for Moonblast again. Again, like, well, the reason for this is because I don't have a way to kill any of these Pokemon, and I'd rather just like, you know, decrease their special attack output than just like, you know, wear them down. Like, you know, it's just a sort of a safe play if you ask me. So here I'm just gonna go for a Wish because I notice he's not gonna be able to, of course he's not gonna be able to break this. So at this point I'm just like, yeah, Burn, Hail is annoying, but you know, I could just keep spamming like Moonblast, and as you'll see, I get a special attack drop. And Jirachi is just like this is pretty much halting his offense really, because this is preventing him from just going for any attack moves or offense. But here I decide to just switch out because I don't want to play around with this Heatran. I go to my Zapdos as he makes a good double, and he goes to Aerodactyl. However, at this point, Aerodactyl has been weakened, and I'm just gonna go for Crocodile, just go for the Intimidate, and he goes for Stone Edge. Of course, this means I'm getting chipped down with Mauler, but I'm just gonna switch back to Jirachi to take maybe a Stone Edge, or like, you know, come back in, like take maybe an Earthquake or whatever. So we're just gonna go for Moonblast as he's gonna go for Earthquake. Just try to catch something on the switch. So and yeah, we get rid of Aerodactyl, which is a huge threat for Zapdos and Heatran B. So also Blaziken, if depending on what he brought. So now he goes to Dawnwings or Borealis, and at this point this is another crucial turn, and we do have Crocodile and as our dedicated counter or check depending on what he has, and Zapdos can take a hit. But here I decide, you know what, Jirachi's done its job, and I don't really need Jirachi to do anything else. Like, I'd rather find out what this thing's coverage is, so I don't want to be very passive, and I have Moonblast, and if I could drop its special attack, which does have a 60% chance to do so, and if he doesn't respond back to me, that's gonna put him in a very, very like difficult position, because then that like with the tailwind turns, like, you know, teetering, you know, we could like you know, we could outspeed it with Crocodile or Blaziken and whatnot, or even Kyurem. But turns out he has Autonomize, so we are now in a very weird spot. And I do get lucky here. I get the crit and I get the special attack drop, and as you notice, I've been getting special attack drops on his entire team. And I pretty much like literally halted his special offense, just spamming Moonblast. And yeah, at this point, this pretty much like, if he reveals Calm Mind, okay, at this point, if he reveals Calm Mind, I know for certain that he has to have Moonblast, Moongeist Beam, or Signal Beam, like those two, as coverage options because um of the way like it is. So, and at this point, I'm like, okay, we can just sing his special attack, so that's pretty good. We know that this thing's not choice, so, and he's gonna go for Moonblast Beam, and it turns out he's Life Orb, so especially with the damage he's doing to me, so, and yeah, at this point, this Alomola can just kind of sit in front of this, go for a Toxic, and then if he tries to go for like let's say Combine, I could just go for Toxic and just wear it down with Life Orb, and you know what? But he's gonna go for Photon Geyser. We're gonna live that hit. He's gonna take Life Orb, and now he's Toxic. And at this point, it's just pretty obvious. I'm just gonna go for Protect, stall this thing out, just wear it down, and just get the regen back. So at this point, I'm just gonna sack Jirachi. But Jirachi has done so much this game already, especially the early game. So Borealis goes down, and at this point he goes to Hydra, and I just go Zapdos because now it's just like between like Heatran, Tentacruel, and Hydra, and a weaken Alolan Ninetales, like all I have to do is just get chip damage on or find out what the hell is this Hydra's moveset. So at this point I'm just gonna go spam Discharge. He goes for Protect, so now I know he's not Specs or like Scarf. So that's good. And you'll see that my Special Bulk is just gonna help me eat this hit up, and I'm just gonna go get a Paralysis. And at this point, with the pressure, ability, I'm just wearing down the Draco Meteors down, so he's gonna have to figure out a way to break this Zapdos. So, and at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go for Discharge. There's like nothing that wants to take this. And this thing Hydra just got paralyzed, which is a huge thing. So so I got rid of Tentacle, one less Pokemon for Blaziken or Kyurem or Aloe really. So, and here he's gonna go for a last ditch Orveil, and I'm just gonna get rid of the Ninetales, and yeah. And I do have access to Blaziken's Brick Break, so at this point it's like battle's pretty much over. And as long as I just get a Protect up and I just get him very low to the point where he can't go for a sub, or I just get a Paralysis in general, and yeah, like we just win this game. So at this point he's going for Ancient Power Boost. I don't blame him because he kind of like I kind of got lucky with all the blasts, but yeah, at this point Zapdos is just gonna carry this game. So we're just gonna keep discharging here, and yeah. The last thing we do is like kind of like I just kind of like go for like a quicker end game. I just go for Defog. I could have just won 5-0 if I really wanted to, but I just felt, you know what, there's nothing really much. I'll just go for Defog, remove the screen, and there, go to Mr. Love here, and just go click Outrage, and yeah, that's gonna be GG. So, so good games to Gearmax or Gearoid. So. Thinking about this game, I think I honestly think that we were able to like, just halt his offense just because of Jirachi alone, just being able to get those Moonblast drops. And I know that kind of got that alone was lucky in of itself, but then again, Rain Grace Jirachi with Moonblast, it's pretty underrated if you think about it, because imagine just having Calm Mind and just having to boost up, and then having a move that could just lower your opponent's special attack even further down, so, and making them less effective. And with a team like this, where their entire mons are like special, well maybe like most of his mons were like specially offensive, the exceptions like Beware and Arrow, but I mean you could say our Hydra could be like mixed, but then again you have to run like attack investment, so, but still like that alone just pretty much ensured that like my team was able to like have sort of like I guess you could say catch up ready against its special offense. And yeah, getting that onto 2, I think Dawn Wings was huge. Um, of course, I don't know what coverage he had. Maybe he had Signal Beam or Hidden Fire Ice. But if he didn't have that, then Crocodile just easily just takes that thing out with a knockoff. And I could just go for knockoffs, go for whatever so I need to do. So yeah, and Kyurem and Blaziken, like Kyurem Blaziken at the end of the had a very strong end game right there because like once, especially Blaziken, because you know between Brick Break, Shadow Claw, and Superpower, I don't think any of his mons, I think with the exception of Tentacruel, would let that. And even then, Kyurem, if I get rid of like Alolan Ninetales, just goes in. So yeah. So anyways, we advance to advance from the quarterfinals and are going to semifinals in this D2 of Division 2 of BPL. So, and I think our opponent for that round will be Bucks or Miniman. So kind of funny because I saw him like commenting on my channel about like how like he wanted me to do like a sort of like Pokemon guide, and I eventually did that Pokemon guide fighting Mega Kangaskhan, and now well, we're battling the same person, so yeah, this is gonna be very interesting if you ask me. So battling a viewer of mine is gonna be very fun. So the only thing I'll say is that his team is pretty interesting. So I'll leave it at that. So I haven't even battled him. I think I may battle him like tomorrow or Sunday, depending on like when I'm uploading this video. I'm probably uploading this video after like depending on how far like I go into like this playoffs, because we have him and the other, and we have him and like this and our final opponent. So, or hence finals opponent. So I don't even know like our finals opponent yet. So it's like 4 people yet. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Me rambled there. So, and yeah, I'll catch you guys next time.